Alright, well, this time around, guys, you can see I am drawing Amon, and as you can hear, I'm actually doing a commentary this time, instead of just straight up music, though I do love the music from Avatar. So I just want to say this, Amon is a really hard guy to draw, and I had a very difficult time with him, his eyes especially, and the hood, kind of. And what I'm doing is just I drew half of his face and his body and then duplicate the other half over. And that saves me a lot of time, and it looks really symmetrical. Same thing with the Equalists I'll be drawing in the background. You'll see it's just one Equalist flipped right over. So now let's get to this. If you aren't familiar with Legend of Korra, Amon is the main antagonist for the show, and he leads a group of people that are not benders, and they're called the Equalists, and pretty much they want equality, but their version of equality is taking away the bending of the people who can bend the elements. If you're not that familiar with the show, or the terms I'm using, I'll leave a link to Avatar, Legend of Korra, and the original series, and you can do more research and see if you might be interested in this show, because I did this commentary before and it took me over 4 minutes to give the whole story, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spend more time talking about Amon. So now it's time for his backstory. So in episode 3, he said he was born on a small farm to a poor family, all of them non-benders, and his father was extorted by a firebender, and one day when Amon's father confronted the firebender killed Amon's father and the rest of his family, and scarred Amon's face, pretty much burnt it, is what he said, and that's why he wears the mask. So I don't know if I totally believe that story, though. I think it's a sob story. I think if you look at his eyes, they look fine. If you look at his skin underneath the eyes, they look okay. Just kind of darkish, sort of, but that's because he's hiding behind a mask. Yeah, also, I think he was just trying to manipulate a bunch of people to join his cause, and he just wants to be someone who's in power, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he wants to be a dictator. So that's what I think. Now, a little bit about if Amon... There's this whole thing going on whether Amon can energy bend or not, as seen in episode 3 when he took away the bending from Lightning Bolt Zolt, that mafia lord of the triple threat triads, and I'm not too sure if he does possess the power to energy bend or whatever, but the argument for saying that he can't energy bend is that he didn't place his hands on the head and the chest of the victim like Aang did to Ozai, and I don't think that's a strong argument, honestly. And also, there was no spectacular light show like in the first one, but I have a way to counter that argument, and I think it's because Aang wasn't as strong-willed as Amon was. I think Aang had internal problems, mentally, emotionally, going through a lot, the whole chakra thing. So I think it was just difficult for Aang to do it, and that's why he almost lost when he took away the Ozai's bending. He almost lost, if you remember, and it almost consumed him, and yeah, so that's what I think. That's why the whole light show happened. It was so difficult for him to take away the bending, it almost destroyed him. So in this case, Amon's pretty strong-willed. He has motivation, he knows what he's doing, and he wants it done, and he knows what he's doing. And that's why it was so easy for him to, and especially like the scar, not just the physical scar left on his face, if that's true, but the loss of his family, if that's true as well. That's gotta be... He's gotta really hate benders, and it's easy for him, I'm sure. Now, if that wasn't energy bending, people are saying it's chi blocking, some advanced form of chi blocking. I can kind of believe that as well, because I looked when he first took away lightning bolts bending. You see he's placing his hand on the guy's neck, and that's keeping him stunned in that position, I guess. Some kind of pressure point thing. It could be that. Not too sure, but I could lean towards that as well. Although I'm leaning way more towards the energy bending. But who knows, right? Except Mike and Brian and the animators. As for theories for who Amon is, there's one going around, which is that Amon is actually Ozai from the original series. And I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, if that were true, in the original series, Ozai was 45, 50 or something. That would make him 115 to 120. It's just hard to believe, right? I mean, I can see where they're coming from with, like, Boomy, the Earth King. He was 112 or 100, a little over 110, I think, and he was pretty good, but he was a bender, and I don't think he moved around physically very much. He just bended, and he used the bending to help him move and whatnot. Now with Amon, if it was Ozai, it would require mental physicalness, a good physical body, good physique, and a lot of energy to move around at that age if he wasn't a bender. So, I mean, Amon moves like a boss, and there's no way an old dude would move like that if he wasn't a bender. And, yeah, I don't think it's Ozai for sure. That's just insane. But if you want to argue with me, please, comment, say something. I'm curious if you could, counter my argument there. Go ahead. Now, another theory is that Amon could be Boomy, the middle child of Aang and Katara, named after Earth King Boomy, of course. And I don't think that's true either. If you look at Amon's skin, it's white. And if you look at the picture that was released of Boomy, it's dark like Katara's skin. So I don't think that's the case. And now a crazy theory that I like is that Amon could be a second avatar. And some of you are like, what? How is that even possible? And the reason it's possible is because if you recall in the second season of the original Avatar, Aang died. Yes, he died. And that was when Azula shot him in the back with lightning and left that scar. He's got that scar on his back. And Katara healed him with that magical water that's like a frickin' sensu bean from Dragon Ball Z, and brought him back to life. And so in that moment when he died, a new avatar was born, but because he was brought back to life, not all the power of bending the elements got reincarnated into this avatar, which in this case might be Amon, and he can only energy bend. So, and then after, of course, Aang died, officially, Korra was born, and she's the new avatar. I can kind of see where they're coming from with the whole energy bending thing, and him only being able to bend that. I think it's a pretty interesting theory. Totally can get behind it. Absolutely. Not sure what else to say, so I'm gonna just end it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe, any of that helps. I appreciate it. And check out my other speed paintings. I've done one of Korra and Pabu. My next one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe a Sami or Mako and Volin in one. Not really sure, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and, stay tuned.